No, it didn't.
Okay, we'll do it automatically here.
Garbage in, garbage out.
There, apparently I'm going to have to go in and manually do it because we're not going to have problems today.
No,
I mean-
not at all. Not at all.
Wouldn't be a show without problems.
Right.
But
Right.
if that's the worst thing that happens, we're doing pretty good though. So
Yeah. Other than my Facebook isn't connecting still, but oh well. I ain't worried about that.
all right. Well, since we are officially on Spotify now, let's start by saying welcome to the Garbage In, Garbage Out podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about anything, comic books, movies, games, mostly games, and pretty much anything else that just strikes our fancy. I am that Cyclops Guy. I am a streamer on Twitch. You can also find me on YouTube. Pretty much all of the socials, same name all across the board. You know what? We're gonna have to write a script so that we can get a good introduction going here.
And live on the seat of our pants. That's how we work here.
Oh yeah. And with me are as always, my two co-hosts, KoimiaX and neo-deth. How you doing, guys?
Good. I guess I'll jump in here. I'm KoimiaX. Slogan: Dad by day, gamer by night, sometimes streamer. I have random hot takes that everybody else disagrees with, and so yeah, hopefully we'll get to some of those today.
I'll say when his hot takes are on, they are spot on, but other times he's just old man yelling at a cloud.
Yeah, pretty much. How's it going, everybody? I'm neo-deth, also a streamer. I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, we're all kind of learning from each other here on how all this works and just having fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing right there.
Right.
And for once, I have my green screen actually working. I know you guys listening on Spotify can't see this, but I have the green screen working. I call myself that Cyclops Guy because I am actually missing my left eye. Whole story behind that. But usually my green screen goes bonkers and somehow makes my missing eye missing. So you can see through my head and see the green screen.
I mean, go watch our other videos. Go to our YouTube and check it out, everybody, because it is kind of funny sometimes.
I know, the whole thing's missing. It's okay, I feel like the green screen is mocking me here.
You're mocking
not at all.
Me, aren't you?
We do that, but not the green screen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did you see not last week's episode because we took a bye week? neo-deth, how was your vacation or your trip to the middle of the country?
It was pretty good. It was a long fucking drive, but it was 7 hours and then 8 back because you gained that hour back. So
yeah. My wife and I were kind of joking. We're like Ohio and Iowa, and I was like, he's going to Ohio. It's like, wait, no, I've just. So guess what? When Canada becomes the 51st state, that's their name. They're Ohio.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't want to do that.
I'm going to ask Looker what he feels about that. Be like, well, how do you feel? Instead of being called Canada, you're called Ohio.
There you go. I'm sure Looker has no objections whatsoever to that.
Right.
And I'm actually talking with them, and hopefully we can get Dingy and the Looker back on. So then we can have both of the DNL podcast people on our podcast.
Yeah, awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah, they were, or Looker was really cool. I still got to connect with him. He said he, could help me out with getting more people to my streams on Twitch.
Oh, yeah. And he was actually serious, not like those people like, hey, come follow me in every single thing.
He wasn't, but just blowing smoke up my ass. He actually reached out and said, hey, I didn't forget about you. I said the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been really busy since I got back.
Oh, yeah. He's I know he's a father and he has a business and does streaming, so it's in a full-time job. So there's a lot that goes into that.
I mean, doesn't all of us? We've all got some sort of stuff. Don't do that.
Okay, what just happened to you?
Wrong direction. I'm playing with my fade. Trying to get a little bit of that fuzziness off. There it goes.
There we go.
Now, what's going on, Koimia?
I finally got my fucking Facebook thing working.
Oh, okay.
Yay.
So
We're all
just give like
screwing with settings.
5
Pretty
minutes of
much.
just BSing around while we're fixing our stuff.
Yeah, making
Apologies.
sure every
Apologies,
feed's going
everyone.
up. Like,
You
yeah.
know, when this started as a radio show, if I had to fix things like that, I would just throw it to a song and I'd be like, okay, a big song, let's do Master of Puppets by Metallica because this is going to take a few minutes. And then it would just
For
be like
real.
me and, everybody thought I was just sitting there. It's like, no, me like fixing things while I was in there. But unfortunately, YouTube gets really pissed at that.
Yeah.
For real.
Let's take off some of the flood.
All right.
All right. So
Let's do a fucking show.
right.
Oh, wait. We got to restart this, all right?
No. Let us not do that.
So, neo-deth, you actually just went and saw Thunderbolts today.
Yes, I did.
How
Literally, like, drove back here and got on stream.
is it as good as Endgame as they're all saying?
I mean, nothing's gonna beat Endgame. I don't know who the fuck's saying that, but yeah, I mean, it in the line of Marvel movies, recent Marvel movies, I guess. It was actually really good. I didn't know how they were gonna do the anti-hero to hero type thing and get it so that you actually liked them
Mm-hmm.
and cared. Like a couple of
I heard there's a
throw-offs.
I mean, I don't know if this is going to be spoilers or anything, but I heard there's a really good, like, positive mental health message throughout
Yeah.
this entire fucking movie.
Yes, there is. I mean, if you, I don't know how deep.
Don't spoil it. Just
I'm not trying to, but like,
keep it. Yes, there is.
They've kept the character in the dark, kind of, but people kind of already know who he is.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
right.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But it was actually a really. I mean, if he just went into it not knowing anything, they do the expedition in the beginning on who each character is, real quick, 5 minutes. They go
Right.
through each one, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's right. And you're kind of caught up if you haven't been watching some of the other like Disney shows and stuff.
Gotcha.
But it was really funny. It was funnier than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of like a buddy cop movie type thing, like where you're, oil and water mixing them together, and they hate each other, but then they got to work together type thing. So and it actually worked out pretty well. It's been way better than like some of the other, like I said. Some of the other ones.
Because it seems like after Endgame, Marvel movies are hit or miss. When they hit, they are right out of the park. But when they're miss, it's like, dude.
Well, yeah, and this is what I was kind of saying before, is like they had so many projects going that no one knew what was going on with each one. They didn't have like the overarching story through them like we had with the movies recently, right?
Right.
So when you started going more into the TV shows, you also had to do kind of homework, right? You had to watch that show to kind of know what was going on.
Right.
And then you had this show going and this show going.
It's like that meme of like me trying to explain, and it's got, is it Charlie Day or whatever? And
yeah,
all the post-it notes and everything.
Right.
Kind of.
They weren't communicating to each other on what they were doing and what the overarching story was. So it was like picking up a comic in the middle, and you're like, what's going on?
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, that's why I was saying I went and saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and I had not seen any part of WandaVision at that point. So
sure.
I was sitting there going like, wait a second. She was helping them in Endgame.
Right.
She was trying to stop the world from becoming.
If you missed WandaVision, you had no clue what was going on in Doctor Strange.
Right.
I was just sitting there like, she's a villain now,
Right.
and she hasn't shown up since then. Why did she like want to help everybody, and now all of a sudden it's like, well, screw everybody. It's like,
did you ever go back and watch WandaVision?
I haven't seen the whole thing, but I have at least understood what was happening in the movie now.
Because that was actually one of their like really good series that I was like really surprised with, and it kind of makes sense when you go that way. What was that?
Or whatever. Did you watch the Agatha one?
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty caught up on everything. The only thing I haven't watched is the new Daredevil. I'm kind of waiting for that to be finished.
Awesome.
Yes,
I've heard it's really good. I just have not sat down to do it or to watch it.
As I was saying before we went live, the only time you can get away with just kind of throwing random information in there was Daredevil, or not Daredevil. I'm sorry, it was Deadpool. And that's like, remember when they were like, oh, just like in Loki, season 1, episode 5, that was totally explained. And it was like, okay, we're just going to go with that. But he's really the only character that can get away with that.
Yeah, he's the only one that can break that fourth wall and acknowledge that kind of stuff, which, I mean, you kind of need that sometimes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just going into it, like I said, a popcorn movie, it was great. If you're going in with the Marvel, like, fanboy, you're like, okay. And then what really hits is the end, the very, very end scenes. Like, really hit it for me as a fanboy. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, we're back. We're fucking Marvel's back.
I heard it's got like one of the longest post-credit scenes.
Yes.
Of all the Marvel movies.
The very last one is like a 2-minute thing.
Yeah.
And again, they're just kind of having some fun, and then it kind of ties in.
It hits the fan.
Well, kind of, and it just sets you up for the next movie.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's no secret. It's Fantastic Four. That's
right.
The next movie. So it sets up for that a little bit, which has me thinking, like, how is this going to work? So I'm all pipe.
It's got you excited. So
yeah, more pumped for Fantastic Four than I was.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic Four is one that I think it's always looked good, but I was always kind of like, but how are you really going to follow this up? Because you've had 3 movies before that were, and that's being nice about it. But then it's like, okay, well, I trust that Marvel has
3.
Yeah, there was Fantastic.
Are you counting the one in the 80s?
No, there was Fantastic Four. Then there was Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay, you're going with Rise. Okay.
And then there was and then there was the other one.
The reboot. Okay. Well, technically, yes, they've been 4 then, because they did have one in the 80s that was just terrible.
We don't count that one. Actually, if you guys watch on YouTube, there's a guy, Minty Comedic.
Thanks for the follow entry. Did I say that right?
But there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Minty Comedic Arts, and he actually just did a video about the Fantastic Four 1980s movie, and he went through everything, and he was basically like, even Stan Lee was like, "What the fuck is this?"
I mean, they also ripped on the original Punisher from the 80s, and I liked that one. I watched that one as a kid quite a bit. It wasn't horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who played.
I was surprised Deadpool didn't mention like the old Hulk. He's like, I could just see like when Hulk is like crying over him or something like that, and he could be like, or when Thor was crying over him, or he'd be like, so wait, which Hulk are we going with? Something like that.
Right. But yeah, I mean, totally cool movie. Glad they brought it back around. It's not fucking Secret Invasion. How cheesy that was.
In your opinion, this is kind of a Marvel redemption.
Yeah, and I mean they've been knocking them out of park, especially with some of the shows with Agatha along and other things. But they took a dip during Secret Invasion. That was a terrible show, and the the CGI was horrible on that, especially at the very end. So they've definitely gone back up on their production levels.
Okay, cool.
I'll say after Endgame, there's really just a handful that were really like have to see kind of good, like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I really liked that one.
That was fantastic.
I went
It
in
was good, but it wasn't like he's not like my superhero of choice. Like I didn't know a whole shit ton about him.
But think about it. That's how Iron Man started. Not a whole lot of people didn't know much about him, like of the yeah. And I mean, think about it, because I mean, there was always Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. You know,
your main guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could also say the same thing about Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, like when they heard of them.
Yeah, when that was first announced, how many people were like, "Who the fuck are they?"
Oh, yeah, who?
Right.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. And hey, Dark Flame,
how's it going, Dark Flame?
But I mean, because they took a huge chance putting Iron Man front and center, and then took an even bigger chance putting Robert Downey Jr. Because as great of an actor as we think he is now, he was a really bad troublemaker at that time because he was on drugs and he was just getting clean. And then you're going to put him in a huge multi-million-dollar feature like this, you know, and he's going to hold what's essentially going to be a tentpole. That could have very easily crashed.
Sorry, the bots are out on Kick today.
Oh boy.
I already had to delete 3. This is why I need mods.
One thing I will say that I'm a little surprised about is that until just recently, I have heard almost nothing for advertising for Thunderbolts. And I was like, is Marvel just putting... Yeah, I was like, is Marvel just putting this out to pasture? And then all of a sudden I started, like, within the last, like, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I started seeing, like, some ads for it, like, you know, on different things here. But when I saw Captain America, the last one, I was like, wait, they were advertising that one. I was like, yeah, where Falcon was Captain America.
Okay.
I haven't seen that yet. I'm slacking.
I was like, wait a second, they were advertising that like crazy. And I was like, but that's because you had Harrison Ford attached to it.
I mean, they also had more known characters.
When I went and saw Minecraft with the kids, Thunderbolts was one of the previews on that one.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Neo, without going into spoilers or anything. Do they fucking explain the asterisks?
Yes. Yes, it does. That's the last scene I was talking about. It is explained.
Which I mean, I have my thoughts on as to what it is, why it's an asterisk, but
I mean, you can speculate. I'm not going to tell you either way.
Well, no. We'll just. I don't want to ruin it for others.
Okay.
But yeah. So
that's
good.
I'm super excited. I was gonna go see that movie this weekend, but we're just a little tight on money. And we want to see it in the IMAX. So we were like, you know what? Let's wait until next week when we get paid, and I will just try to avoid like all the spoilers and everything.
All right. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Well, I was like
to you, sir.
With Deadpool, I told Rachel, I was like, okay, either opening night or the next night. We're going to see.
It has to be.
And I mean,
I don't know if, like, again, we're back on, like, they're not well-known characters. I don't know if a lot of spoilers will go out. I mean, usually, like, the main ones, they try and not do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and even the Thunderbolts, the name, they explain where it comes from and the origin of it. It's pretty funny.
I still say that Deadpool should take over Stan Lee's cameos and just show up in every single movie at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Just have him just be in the background, one scene.
Mm-hmm. And it'd be so perfect because, I mean, that would just be one fourth wall break and he'd be like, oh, yeah, so that guy... Oh man, wait till you read the comics.
Maybe once they do the next saga, the mutant saga, maybe he will start showing up more in the background.
Yeah.
I was thinking in the next Thor movie, it'd be so funny if he just randomly shows up and he goes like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" And Thor, knowing that he was the one crying over, goes like, "Who's the?" And
we need that the rest of that story from that movie. So,
well, I just think it'd be funny if Thor looks at him and goes like, "Who the fuck are you?" in a PG-13 movie, and he's like, "What did you say? What did you just say?" He's like, Disney said I could be the one to use that word. It's just like freaked out.
That would actually be pretty damn funny.
Damn it, Feige! And then he goes up to like Nick Fury. He's like, I'm gonna show up in Secret Wars, and next time I'm the one who says it, and then just walks away. And then like Thor's like, seriously, who was that guy? And Fury like could add a little mystery to Fury and be like, that's a guy. You don't want to know. That's a whole thing.
Just a guy. Just a guy.
Like, we'll explain it to you later. And then they just move on like nothing happened.
But yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say go see it. It's a pretty good movie, good popcorn movie, and especially if you're a fanboy, fits right in, sets up for the next one.
All right, sounds good. So I'm going to enjoy it next week. Do not spoil it for me.
Nope, we can talk after you see it. Yeah.
All right. Next week. All right. Koimiya, you got to go see it too. Tell your kids.
No more Minecraft stuff.
Just be like, hey, I had to suffer through Minecraft. You got to suffer through it.
I'll get right on that. Actually, they would probably like it. You know, they're into the Marvel movies, so
yeah,
I could see them being like, okay, yeah, let's go see it.
See, your boys are about that age where I hear people go like, I don't know if I want them seeing it because it's PG-13, or oh yeah, it's Marvel and who cares? It's like it just depends on the parents.
The only one that they kind of we were kind of iffy on was the last Doctor Strange movie, only because it's Sam Raimi and you don't know what you're gonna get with it, regardless of the rating of the movies.
Right.
There were a couple of times where my wife was like, "Is this too much for you guys?" And they're like, "No." And we're like, "Okay." And then the Guardians of the Galaxy, when the whole scene with Rocket and his whole like history, that kind of we were kind of like, "Is this okay with you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're fine." Okay, the funny thing is though, is I think back to when I was like my older son's age. He's 12, and I'm like, I was watching Evil Dead 2.
Right.
At 12 years old and stuff like that. So it's like on the one, and again, Sam Raimi, like,
yeah, but we were built different back then. I mean, yep. And then Dark Flame said, all I've heard of the Minecraft movie is that people completely trashed the cinema with one particular scene. Yep. Yeah, chicken jockey.
Yeah. Here, Dark Flame, I will sum it up for you this way. The CGI is good, and that's it. I don't know how you feel about Jack Black and all that, but watch previous shows if you want my unbiased opinion on Jack Black.
See, Jack Black, I think, is really good, but at this point, I think he's just he's just found his niche and he's just sticking with it. Kind of like everyone always says Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, they're the greatest actors in the world. And I'm like, they are, but they're always the same, they're always the same intimidating Italian, I'm the macho guy. They're always the same kind of gangster roles. Even when they're in comedies, they're the intimidating gangster role.
Are you saying Hook is a gangster?
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, he kind of is, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
Says, I haven't seen it, but here they are. Put signs up that if you trash our place, you'll be removed. 0 tolerance.
Yep.
A lot of theaters went that way.
Yep.
I mean,
it seems like that was a minimal thing that was happening, but it's like it was just so bad at those theaters it became big news.
I mean, it can't be any worse than normal going to the theater. I mean, maybe it is, but like it's constantly you see people that just leave their trash on the ground or whatever. I understand that they were throwing it and whatnot.
Yeah. I think it's because they get a whole group of them doing it and they're all just whipping it at the theater to the point that it was breaking some of the screens.
Oh, yeah. That's a bit drastic.
But I'm like, if you went to a Rocky Horror Picture Show screening, but then again, then you're expecting it.
That's exactly what my wife's argument was too. But the Rocky Horror Show. But like you said, that's kind of like what it's known for.
And you only do one showing of it or 2 showings or what,
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Brian, or I'm sorry, so neo-deth, just if you had to grade it right now, 0 out of 10, what would you give it? And would you recommend others go see it?
I would give it a 7.
A solid 7. Okay.
Yeah, and I would definitely go see it because it definitely was way funnier than I thought it was going to be. Thought it was just going to be, all action with all the characters that are in there, but yeah, it was way.
It had some heart.
Yeah, and it definitely had that. And back to what Koimiya said, it definitely has some mental stuff in there. Also know that there are I think 2 swear words. I think they use asshole and I think shit. I think. I know
that's pretty typical for them,
right? But it was still kind of. It's always a shocker when you're in a Marvel movie and someone swears. You're like, wait, what?
Especially when it's one of the heroes.
Characters.
The F-bomb dropped in Guardians of the Galaxy was fantastic. I will give them
they timed it so perfectly too.
It's you knew it was coming in the movie because everybody made mountains out of molehills. Oh my god, they dropped the F-bomb in this Marvel movie, so you knew it was coming somewhere. But the scene that it actually happened in is not what you expected it to be. So that was the perfect time.
Well, they had kind of hinted at it twice before. I think it was in, I don't know if it was in Homecoming or Spider-Man Homecoming or Spider-Man Far From Home.
Spider-Mans.
Yeah, and it was Aunt May who, she saw Spider-Man show up and she saw him rip off his mask and she was like, "What the fuck?" And then it cut right before she said it.
Right? Yeah.
And then again in, I want to say it was Avengers Infinity War, at the very end when you saw that he was that Fury was texting Captain Marvel.
Well, there was that one, and then there was also the second Spider-Man when they have the Dr. Mysterio video, and he announces that it's Peter Parker, and Peter Parker's like, "What the fuck?" And then they cut it again.
Yeah. So they did it 3 times before. So when Guardians dropped it, it was like, "Oh my god!" And it came out of Star-Lord of all people.
When he's like, "Get in the fucking," or open the fucking door. It cracked me up. So
I know I was about rolling in the theater when I saw that. My wife was sitting there like, "Did he just say that?" And I was like, "Yep,
he sure did."
Well, and it was I remember in the second Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. Remember, what was it? Tony Stark at the very beginning, he gets hit and he's like, "Ah, shit." And then you hear Captain America go language. So then anytime you hear Captain America go "Ah, shit," everybody's like, "Watch your mouth, young man. You kissed your mother with that mouth." And I'm like, to hear Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson scold somebody for swearing.
Pretty much.
So, but yeah, so aside from, I'm sorry.
We got Dark Flame. Gas. They used asshole. Unacceptable.
How dare they? This is a children's movie.
Throw the popcorn.
I went to see Deadpool, and there was a dad in there with his young son. And I want to say 20 minutes into the movie, we saw them walking out. And I'm like, what movie did you think you were coming to see?
Right.
Yeah.
They were pretty... And there's signs all over the place. Deadpool is a Marvel movie, but not for kids. Da da da. And I was like, they were pretty clear on that.
Yeah.
People I'm when the last Ronin movie comes out, I'm like, you know what? You're going to get all these people who are like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm going to be like, yes, but no.
Yeah, my kids are so excited about, my younger one especially is excited about that one. And I'm like, okay, but
it is Hollywood. They can butcher it and probably will.
Well, the kid probably won't care if they butcher it. It's just I'm afraid of the kid being scarred that the 3 of the 4 turtles are dead.
Yeah. I don't think that'll bother him though.
And it's 2025 for fuck's sake. Can't believe it's that they swear in movies. Yeah. And I mean, we've had full on almost pornographic scenes in R-rated movies before, and yet we're still worried that somebody's going to drop the F-bomb. It's kind of like South Park. Remember, like horrific, deplorable violence is okay as long as people don't say any naughty words.
Right. Right.
Pretty much.
Damn it, Canada. Where's the liquor when you need it?
Blame Canada.
It's
Blame
all their
Canada.
fault. It's all their fault. Damn Canada.
But yeah, so speaking of things that have been censored in the past, I'm just going to use that as my transition here. I don't know about you guys.
Up, here we go.
So we have Grand Theft Auto 6 was actually just postponed by almost a year. Actually, a full year.
Full year, yes.
I was going to say almost a year. It is a year.
It is a year.
Well, May 7th. So yeah, it is a year. May 7th until next year. And it was like, we were so excited. They gave us a release window of 2025, never dropped another screenshot or anything. And now they're saying they need another year to work on it. And I'm like, haven't you already had like over a decade to work on this?
Yes, that was the thing I was talking about before the show that I said I'll save it for the show. You know, initial development for this damn game started in 2014. So, oh, Eric, thank you. How you doing tonight? But you know, so initial development started on this thing in 2014. It was leaked in September of what year? And then officially announced after the leaks. You know, so to push it off another year, we're getting to be Duke Nukem Forever levels here. We're going to be Elder Scrolls 6 levels here, you know, and it's like
Half-Life 3.
Yeah, which we'll talk about later. But
well, what's kind of funny is that 2K owns Rockstar. 2K also owns the Gearbox, which is developing Borderlands 4, and a lot of people thought that game was, and we're going to talk about that game later.
What a segue here, folks.
Yeah, but they thought that game was being pushed up because of the release date of Grand Theft Auto 6, and they instantly said, no, that's not the case. So everyone was like, oh, so Grand Theft Auto is going to be a Christmas game. And then just a couple of days later, by the way, it's not coming out for another year.
So I have mentioned this before, and I know I've discussed it in messages with you guys. With this game now being pushed back another fucking year, are we going to reach a point where hype turns it into what's the term I used?
Where like, you can't live up to the hype?
It's not going to live up to the hype, and the game is going to actually, people are going to be like, this game sucks. You know, is the hype going to be so overplaced that it's not going to live to its expectations?
It's hard to say. Grand Theft Auto always hits expectations, always knocks it out of the park, but we've never had to wait this long for a game.
Right.
And we've never had Rockstar or any developer string us along for this long, being like, I mean, how long was it before they even announced that it was in development?
Resentment.
And then it was like...
Resentment was the term.
Yeah.
Then it was, 2 or 3 years before they even gave any screenshots. And then it was like another year before they gave a trailer. And now it's been over a year and a half, almost 2 years since we had the said trailer.
Well, I mean...
since then until now.
What is it that you want? Do you want phenomenal graphics, a good story? Like, what is your resentment? Or is it just going to be, it's just not going to live up to it?
Looker is here. How you doing, Looker?
How's it
going,
Looker? Thank you for joining us.
With Grand Theft Auto, they kind of hit all sides of that. They always do. I mean, think about it. When it went from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas to Grand Theft Auto 4, that was a huge leap in graphics. It still wasn't necessarily photorealistic, but it was a huge leap. Now they're saying...
My buddy on the he's watching on Facebook side. He says they're going to delay it until the new gen consoles and raise the prices to $200.
You've got maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, one of my other friends, I had sent him a message, and I had said, you know, about it being a, resentment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, but think about it. When Grand Theft Auto 4 came out, did it hit all expectations? I know it hit sales expectations, but that was really the more depressing entry in the game. and that brought a lot of people in because they were
good.
like a realistic story. But then they
I
were
wanna-
like, yeah, but I want goofiness, you know.
I want to say the last one wasn't as good story wise, in my opinion. I didn't even finish it, like because like you had like 3 different characters you were trying to follow, and then you could
Too
skip
much.
through each
It was
one. It was
too
just
much.
it was way too much stuff to do. Almost kind of like Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There's just
Mhm.
too much shit to do in that game.
Well,
That
with
you're
Grand
like, okay, I'm never gonna get through this.
Yeah, with GTA 5, I had to play that like 3 or 4 times all the way through the story to understand what everything that was going on. Once I understood everything, I was like, "Oh my god, they've actually weaved an amazing story here." And then not only that, but I also played a lot of the Grand Theft Auto, or at least Grand Theft Auto 5. There's almost a whole nother story after the credits.
Right.
Yeah, so it's almost like you're getting 2 games, and then once I played all that, and I was like, okay, now this makes more sense. Now this makes more sense. Now this makes, and I know Rockstar does that on purpose to keep replay value going, but
Right.
and then they gave 3 different endings too, depending on which way you ended it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but here, so let me ask you this, because my friend, when I had messaged him about the resentment, he said, "I think I'm quoting him here. I think this is one game immune from overhype because at the end of the day, it will be an open world sandbox MMO. No one will care about the single player." Now, Cyclops, I know you're a big single player guy. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of people do care about the single player, and this is going to be one that sells well with multiplayer and single player. I honestly, I don't necessarily fully agree with that. I see where he's coming from, but I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, but it's not really what if they're trying to push it more MMO, kind of like they started on 5 after it came out, they all of a sudden switched gears and turned it into an MMO. If that's how they're going to try and like get people to buy their stupid shark cards and invest more money into the game.
Get rid of those shark cards.
Release the game on 4 different consoles or whatever the fuck. Like,
Right.
so I mean, the other problem with GTA also is you get into the game and you're like driving around, you're like, fuck it, I just want to start mowing people over. So you spend like 3 hours doing that, stealing cars, whatever, just doing the worst shit ever.
If you watch my streams, I will do that.
I got a mission to do. Fuck. Reload.
I did that on both Grand Theft Auto and Spider-Man. If you've watched any of my streams on those, I will just swing around the city as Spider-Man and I will take care of none of the actual thing. They'll be like, Spider-Man, we need you over here. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to the other side of the map.
You sure do. You sure do.
And Grand Theft Auto, it's like, you know, you can tell when I'm bored playing a game, but I still want to play it when I start trying to follow the actual traffic laws in there.
That too. You just get bored. You're like, yeah, let's actually, stop when they tell me to stop and shit.
And then somehow the people are still yelling at you and they're like, no, that piece of shit. It's like, dude, it's a red light. What are you doing? But yeah, it was kind of surprising because I mean they've been sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
I'm just putting up another comment from Dark Flame.
Yeah, okay. After Grand Theft Auto 5, which was such a big hype, and the amount of glitches and whatever still in the game, I was like, what the fuck, you guys been doing all this time? So I'm not hyped for 6 at all.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be buggy as fuck. Because they're not going to get enough time probably to, or maybe they will. Maybe that's what this whole year
thing is like,
is to get the glitches and actually play test it. Because I mean, a lot of the games coming out nowadays, they don't get the play testing that they used to, and you get a lot of those bugs day one. And when it goes gold to when it comes out, then they have to do the day one patch just to get rid of the rest of the. Or not rest.
One
Some
patch
of
is usually like another fucking 40 gigs.
Right. Just to fix what you couldn't get
do you
done.
think this game is going to be? Like file size wise,
a full terabyte.
Most likely.
You're gonna have to buy an external hard drive just to play the damn thing. Which you remember it happened actually for back on the 360. Like they did not have, you had to have like extra space to play the damn game or something.
Well, didn't that just recently happen with some of the Call of Duty games? Because those things are freaking massive.
Oh Christ, those games are huger than all get out.
Well, here's my question: does every single Grand Theft Auto game always have to double or triple the size of the map?
Yeah,
that's where it becomes a problem, because then you got
the same thing that Assassin's Creed was having a problem. When you finally got to Valhalla, they had made the map so big, so much to do. It's like, okay, you can still have a smaller, decent sized map. That's why I like Shadows. It's not like huge. Like you're like, fuck, I'm never gonna get across this map.
Well, let me say this, because Odyssey was actually the biggest map. Valhalla actually was a smaller map, but had more to do.
Okay.
And
maybe it was Odyssey I'm thinking about. But yeah, you don't need to just keep bigger and bigger and bigger. It becomes too daunting, I feel, for most of the players, especially me, where I'm like, I don't even know where to begin on some of this shit. And then you got quests just popping up left and right. You're like, well, what do I tackle?
I know Red Dead had the same problem, because it was like, I know it's kind of fun to go and explore that world, but it was like, do I have to stop every 5 minutes because some dude got bit by a snake or somebody's wheel fell off the wagon?
Or yeah, you got to escort someone to a town or whatever.
But yeah, so with Grand Theft Auto, though, they said that 2K was saying that they fully support Rockstar Games taking additional time to realize their creative vision. Grand Theft Auto 6, which promises to be a groundbreaking blockbuster entertainment experience, and that came from Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two. So I mean, the problem is with this, I think they hold their games so long because they want them to be a giant spectacle when they come out, and at the same time, it's how can I almost get an entire series of games in the amount of time it took you to put out one sequel?
Let me ask you this.
3 Spider-Man games,
So let me ask you this. Do you think this delay might be because they want to now remove some of the possible wokeness or DEI because of everything that is going on?
No, honestly, because I don't think Rockstar gives that much of a shit. Because I mean, they always thrive on controversy.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, but now is a different climate than when they first came out. If you had released this game now, the first Grand Theft Auto or the second one, whichever one really hit it, because the first one was top down, or second one was too. Third one. That's the one I'm going with. If you release that right now, how much shit would they be in?
Well, they were in a lot of shit back then.
Right, but it'd be even worse right now. Like they would completely ban the motherfucker. They'd literally burn the places down that were selling it type shit. Like I
am hoping to God that when this game finally fucking comes out, that everybody's going to piss and moan about, oh, you went woke, because there's been a lot of shit in every game of Grand Theft Auto that could be considered woke or whatever, and it happened with Assassin's Creed, the newest one. And I mean, that game is selling like hotcakes, proving that the vocal community or minority that are crying about this shit finally are maybe disappearing.
Yeah. Well, as I've said before, the anti-woke people online are always the loudest, but the ones who are true fans are always going to buy it no matter what. I mean, you saw how much shit that Assassin's Creed Shadows got before release. And you see how much, it seems like anytime you have a black protagonist, a female protagonist, a gay protagonist, it's like, oh, it's woke. It's like, how do you know? We haven't even seen. Right. So it's a gay person or a gay black trans person, or whatever. I don't care. If you're giving me a great story, then give me a great story. One of the funniest things that I've seen recently was a lot of people were saying, oh, give them their own game. Don't make a black and gay Peter Parker, give them their own game. And then when they came out with this new game that's out right now called South of Midnight, doing phenomenal.
So good.
It's doing phenomenally. And it was like, it's an original story. It's an original character. It's original everything. And now everybody's going like, oh, we didn't mean like that. This is woke. It's like, wait a second.
Well,
First you said give them their own game. They get their own game. It's a good game. And now
aren't people also bitching because isn't supposedly Sweet Baby with South of Midnight? Didn't they have their hand in it?
Sweet Baby did, but it sounded like they really tried to just keep it where they weren't trying to mess with the story, but they were in there trying to keep it where, you know, where they were focused on for in the story. They were trying to make it where, you know, if you were in South Louisiana, this is how people would talk.
Right.
This is how people, this is like what you would see. This is the hairstyles.
More authentic.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a fictional setting, but it's based off of an authentic setting.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
The problem with Sweet Baby, though, is they get in there and they literally have said, we get in there and we try to scare the shit out of the CEOs and make them do it our way. And it's like, okay, now that's where you're just imposing your vision onto the vision that was already here.
Like, I hear everybody saying they said this, but nobody has given me an actual like link showing me that they've said we're here to scare CEOs.
I saw it on YouTube. I did see it. It's not one that have looked at a whole lot, but yeah, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
Okay, because it's like I said, people are saying they've said this, but I'm like, where? I have not seen it anywhere. So
I'd actually like to get somebody from Sweet Baby Inc. on the show and just question them, like not attack them, but just question them. You know?
Right.
And yeah, there was one where they said they wouldn't hire like white males, and I was like, I have not seen an article that has said that.
Right. Yeah, you know, it's like, I mean, if they did actually say this shit, okay, fine. But, you know, Sweet Baby seems like it's one of those that people just want to shit on for the sake of shitting on. And so, you know, I want proof.
Right.
I mean, if they did say we're not going to hire white males, okay, that's a legitimate reason for an argument to shit on them. But just to scream, "Oh my God, Sweet Baby's touching this game, I'm never going to play it." Okay, well, you're a fucking sheep. You know,
you're a moron. It's like, how many bad people have worked on these games before? You know,
right?
It's like, okay, now I need to know every single developer that has ever worked on any game ever, so that I know if they bad person, then I won't play it.
Yeah,
right.
It's ridiculous.
So, but yeah, with Grand Theft Auto, the response was mixed. Some users complained about waiting longer, like we are doing, while others welcomed the additional polish. The move will also impact wider industry, as GTA was expected to be a major catalyst for the sector growth at the time of the U.S. tariffs, when driven up gaming console prices are sparked to pull back consumer spending. Now, one thing I also noticed is that a lot of other developers were saying that they were trying to avoid the blast zone. So they were trying to adjust their release schedules so that they could avoid. Now I'm like, well, now you can release anytime in 2025 and you're not going to hit it. But now you got to readjust your 2026.
I was thinking about that too, though, while I was in the theater. I'm like, you know, there's always movies that always like release kind of around in the same time. And, you know, they don't always like just bomb out. Just depends on how good your fan base is or whatever story you're trying to tell.
Right.
If you get a good story, people are going to come and they're going to watch it or play it. So, like, I don't feel that was justified. I think everybody's just scared because they know. I think we're going back to the hype, right? Because you're just going to get everybody wanting to play the new GTA because that's like everybody holds that game higher up in quality and, well, not quality, but like story and everybody, you know, the different things that they do. Yeah.
One thing, Rockstar is not the same company it was. I mean, as you guys kind of made fun of me with this because I'm like, now they're just more focused on making money instead of innovating. And I'm like, well, I know that with Grand Theft Auto 6, they're trying to innovate. They're trying to push industry standards. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, remember when they used to release games like actually release games, not just years in between. It seemed like they got Grand Theft Auto Online, and then they just got rid of the story DLC. They planned for that, put everything online, and it was because then they could charge more money. They could charge more money, and I was like, you could charge for the DLC, but they could charge every step of the way with online.
So here's my question to you: how many IPs does Rockstar actually have? Not how many IPs do they milk? How many IPs do they have? Because they only milk Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto. What else do they?
They've got Manhunt. They got Bully. They got Midnight Club. Red Dead. Okay, we already said Red Dead. Yep. Technically, I think they still have the gaming IP for the Warriors, but I don't know. And they just let Agent go. They apparently Agent is not going to be a thing anymore.
Was it ever? I don't think that game ever even came out.
No, it was announced in like 2006 as an exclusive for PlayStation 3, and then not another word.
Because then they even had they had a little like mini game for it on Facebook, and I used to play the hell out of that mini game while waiting for it to come out. And I mean, it's like okay, Rockstar, you have all these other IP. I mean, I know Cyclops, you've been hyping a second Bully since fucking my firstborn was born, and
before that,
it's like okay, they need to. I think they need to go back and make more
they need
games.
To come up with another IP or another story, but I don't think they,
because it's going to get to the point, I believe, that people are going to get burnt out on their two cash cows.
Right.
And I mean, we already have to some extent, but it's I'd really like to see another Bully. I think that's been pretty clear. I'd also like to see I'd like to see a remaster or a remake or even a third Manhunt game. I know the second one didn't do too well, but if you think about it, like Rockstar used to innovate. Like Grand Theft Auto took balls, Bully took balls, Manhunt
really took balls.
And it's like now they're just like, oh, okay, we got these two franchises. They do well. We're guaranteed money. Let's do that. It's like, come on.
Yeah, but I don't feel that they've done that with Red Dead. They've only put out, 3 Red Deads?
Technically 2.5, if you want to get into that.
I don't know what you want to call that, the first one.
Technically it has... Revolver. Technically it has Rockstar's seal on it, but I think it was actually made by Activision, and then Activision didn't want it, so they decided to sell it to Rockstar, who finished it, and then they put it out with their name on it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't feel that one's as like, it's not like, we're constantly going on. I don't even know how you would go on with that one with the story. So,
well, I'm pretty sure Revolver was like a prequel to all of them.
Right.
Yeah. And then why did they name it Red Dead Redemption 2? Why didn't they call it like Red Dead, Devotion? Because now you've got 2 being the third game, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
All right. So I know Koimiya has been looking forward to this one, though. The other big game that was talked about quite a bit this week. If I can actually get it to pull up, that would be great. Was Borderlands 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't wait. I mean, I also liked 3. A lot of people shit on 3, said it wasn't the best in the series. I mean, it was weaker. I will give it that.
2 was that.
I loved all 3. I also loved the Tiny Tina spinoff.
That was actually pretty good too. Yeah.
And so I can't wait for 4. It looks gorgeous. The silos that they talked about in the State of Play, which I know neo-deth you didn't watch, but the silos concept I'm really excited about.
Can you explain a little?
I honestly I can't.
They're kind of
live quests, they kind of like just pop up as you play, and it's kind of like you could just be running around on the map, and it'll open up the map more, and it's go watch the state of play. That's all I'm gonna say. But
Yeah, that's what I got running here in the background here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we
you've
can't
got
watch. You can't watch the whole 20 minutes.
Right.
right,
I
but
saw a couple of the, like someone break down some of the things, like some of the characters and whatnot, but I don't think they mentioned what you were talking
the
about.
silo play, yeah.
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 I
I mean,
don't
it
know.
looks
it's
gorgeous
like
here, but
it's like any other, looter. Like you're eventually going to get bored with it. It's all about the end game, what you have to perpetually make you want to keep coming back to play. Usually with these type of games is you'll get people that will like, "Oh, I got to get this best loadout, this gun, the best specs." And then once you get that, then you're like, "Okay, now what do I do now? What do I use this on?" For more farming, like that just gets boring after a while. All the looters like Diablo, Path of Exile, like they just all get like that eventually, where you're just like, okay, well, I'm moving on to the next game because I have killed enough of this same boss over and over again, and
Well,
I'm sick of it.
talking about looters, did you get a chance to check out the first Descendant yet?
No, I
Or
still
the
have
final
it on my,
Descendant or whatever it is?
yeah, I
That
still have it
one's
on my
fun.
thing.
so I think it's kind of funny though. They put out the Borderlands movie thinking that was going to sell like hotcakes, and then they were trying to attach this to, kind of. I love how I stopped him. Like, hey.
Good pause.
But yeah, then they were expecting to attach this and be like, yeah, now the success of this is gonna do this, and it's like more people are actually more into Borderlands 4 to get the taste of Borderlands movie out of their mouth.
Right.
Well, one thing I also like that they are actually going back to, as he said, the more grounded. It's not going to be as slapstick comedy as like the last couple had been, like 3 was. Or saying shit for the sake of being shocking, or controversial. Like, I don't know, they just 3 seemed to touch too much in reality, like the whole the brother and sister being influencers and shit. It's like, they're going back to being more of the sci-fi. Like, I don't know if you played any of the spin-off, like the Tales from the Borderlands games.
Yes, I played those. Those are fun.
Those were fantastic, and they had the right mix of humor, in my opinion, and seriousness.
Humor and heart, as I call it.
And it sounds like they're going back to more of that. I mean, obviously, you want to keep the comedy with like the Tiny Tina spinoff, because that's Tiny Tina, and she's just fucking nuts. And
well, that goes into what Dark Flame here was saying. Do you guys know if there's going to be a Tiny Tina's Wonderland 2?
I hope so.
I hope so. I mean,
I hope so.
It was a fun concept. It was different in the fact that, you're not playing an open world per se, and you had to go into the map or stage to play it. So that was interesting.
And it was fun hearing, Luis from Bob's Burgers go completely apeshit sometimes.
When?
Isn't that Tiny Tina? Isn't she?
No.
Isn't the voice actress the same?
That's not Kristen Shaw. It's Ashley Birch.
It sounds like Shaw.
No, it's Ashley Birch, who also does Aloy in the Horizon games.
Oh yeah,
and so it's hilarious when you're playing the Lego Horizon game because of the fact that it's Lego. It's more, humorous and stuff like that. So, and they actually got Birch back to do the voice. So it's almost like they said, do Aloy as Tiny Tina for kids. And so it's hilarious. But no, it's not Kristen Shaw.
It really sounded like, okay, I'm off on that. I will admit that I am wrong.
Okay. But yeah, I haven't heard anything officially, but I'd be interested in doing another one of those.
Yeah. I would.
I just like the concept of, kind of D&D plus looter shooter. It was a pretty good concept.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of going back on with what Kotaku was saying here. So there's like 13 things that they've learned from this whole thing. I'm not going to go through all 13 that they put here, but Pitchford claims that Borderlands 4 is going to have a more grounded tone, like we were talking about, the harkness back to the original games. Two of the vault hunters in the game were given names, and we learned more about them. Vex is a powerful siren with a ghost tiger that she can pet and use in combat. While Rafa is a former I forget how to say this word, Tedior soldier, who uses the advanced tech fights. And then also, I mean, there's a lot of things. Definitely check out this article. I'm not going to go through everything, but yeah, the looter shooter will support crossplay at launch, which is always a good thing. I always kind of wonder why Sony was like so hesitant to jump into that. It was like, I don't know.
You know, the funniest thing is, okay, so go off on a side tangent here. You know, everybody shat on Sony so hard about the crossplay and them not doing it for the longest time. But everybody seems to forget about back in the 360 days when Sony came out with, well, not Sony, but Square came out with Final Fantasy. Which one's is it 14 that's online?
Yeah.
For the longest time, that was crossplay of just PlayStation and PC because Microsoft and Xbox didn't want to do crossplay because they were worried about their players mingling with PlayStation players and all of that. So for the longest time, Square did not. I mean, they finally brought Final Fantasy 14 out to the Xbox, like 2 years ago, if even, because now, you know, crossplay is the cool thing to do. Right. But Xbox initially did not want to allow crossplay for Final Fantasy because the same line that Sony used that they got shit on for, you know, we are concerned about our players playing with other servers and other players. Microsoft used the same exact fucking line, and nobody batted an eye. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that just yeah, you know,
but it just seemed like it was so weird, like they were finally on for it, and then Sony's like, well, now I'm not going to do it. You know.
yeah, and you know, and Sony got shit on, but when Microsoft did it,
everyone understood.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, small tangent there. Small tangent.
Nope. It's all right.
Just a small one this time, guys.
Just a small one, yeah. Not my. That wasn't one of my hot takes. That was just a tangent.
Thank you, lucky stars.
When he decides to go off on some tangents, it's hold on to your fucking hat.
Yeah, but you guys love me for it.
Speaking of hats, neo-deth, where's your hat you said you'd wear this week?
Oh, shit. You're gonna love this. I don't know how my headphones are.
Is it a top hat? I hope it's a top hat. Didn't he say he was going to wear a top hat?
Yeah, I thought so, because Looker was going to give you a top hat.
The monocle, I hope.
I don't have the monocle.
I used to be known as Hat because I used to wear a top hat when I went to shows. There we go.
Oh my god.
That's perfect.
All right, we're clipping this one.
You must wear that every show now. So if you're going to be listening on Spotify and can't see this, he's wearing a Harley Quinn jester's mask type hat combo, and it's fucking gorgeous.
This is the new Koimia. I'm sorry. This is the new neo-deth.
Yeah, I was gonna say that ain't me. So we need to come up with something though for like everybody. Like, okay, so you know, neo-deth's now got his hat. Cyclops, you're gonna wear your
a new
monocle. I still think you need a monocle over your non-eye. You know, that would be hilarious. And me, I don't know. Shave.
Not
wear a hat.
Dark Flame came in and said every show different hat.
Possibility.
It's a nice little thing. It could get people watching.
How about we all drink something that can be shown through the green screen? Like apparently this thing can.
Yeah, your can of 7-Up there.
Yeah, this is actually I know they're not a sponsor, but this is the zero sugar tropical blend that they have.
I haven't even seen a tropical blend.
Yeah, they just started selling it. I don't know. Maybe they have it at your Quick Trip. Maybe not. But yeah, this is tropical.
No, they don't. I would have been on that if they did.
He would have been on it.
They have the regular and they have a zero sugar. And I tend to try to stick to the zero sugar. I will probably try a regular one just to see if there's a different taste. But I stick to zero sugar.
We didn't at Quick Trip. We didn't even get the Shirley Temple 7-Ups.
Oh, the cherry one?
No, we got normal cherry, but they actually had like the Shirley Temple Kitty Cocktail. It was a limited time only, and I think they were only available at like Woodman's and shit. We didn't get them at Quick Trip, but they were really good.
Quick Trip, if you're ever up in the Wisconsin or some, I think you're in Minnesota too, and Illinois, northern Illinois areas.
Dude, they're slowly taking the states over one state at a time. It's Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa are the main ones right now. They got a couple in Illinois. There's a couple in the UP, and then the Dakotas. So, and it's Quick Trip with it's Quick Trip with the K, not the Q. That's the Wish version, the Q one. So.
I have looked at moving to the Kansas City area, and I saw when I was visiting there, I saw it was like Quick Trip, but it was with a Q and it was all spelled correctly. And I remember sending that to you, and you're like, "Don't go there. That's the Wish version." I had already been in there, and it was like probably one of the cleanest gas stations I'd ever seen. But it was like a large area where there was just nothing there, and I'm like, "Okay, I get it. Are you going to have like customers have a party in this area because that's a lot of space here?"
Well, it's funny because everybody's all up in arms. Well, not up in arms, but they're saying now because Buc-ee's is trying to move into Wisconsin, and everybody's like, "Oh, Buc-ee's is going to destroy Quick Trip," and da 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 da. And I'm like, "No, they aren't." And I'm like, and quite honestly, Wisconsin doesn't want Buc-ee's here because it's like there's been 2 attempts now. Where the first one that they were going to build got shot down completely, and now the second one, the city is suing basically Buc-ee's like for the zoning contracts or some crap in this second. Like every attempt that Buc-ee's has been making to come to Wisconsin is getting shot down.
I will say I've been to a Buc-ee's, and Buc-ee's is fucking phenomenal, but it's like it's its own thing, you know. I'd go to Quick Trip because I like your guys' style and I like the convenience and I like everything of it. I go to Buc-ee's. The closest one here is about like 2 hours away, but if I go to Buc-ee's, that's because I want the experience of going to Buc-ee's. It's a gas
there's a
station.
new one coming out here called Sheets that's supposed to be like really good, like food. It's made to order food. It's literally like right down the street from me that they're putting it in, and another one. And I'm like, I've never even heard of these, but they're all of a sudden moving around.
I know of them too. Yeah.
Buc-ee's, if you ever get a chance, you definitely go because it's an experience, but it's not a Quick Trip killer.
I mean, it's kind of like Come and Go. Like that's another one. You go in there for the
thrill of saying you've been there.
Right, or you get one of their shirts.
Yeah.
Which I think I read that they're trying to change the name, which I mean that's kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. I remember I think I posted it on social media on Facebook. When I went into a Come and Go, and I think I've actually sent it to you, Koimia, going like, "Hey, check out the name of this gas station because it's spelled KUM with the ampersand sign go." And I was like, "This is not right. This does not seem."
I mean, they knew what they were doing. It gets people talking or whatever. It gets people coming in, even if it's just to buy a shirt. Like you just made a sale that you wouldn't normally have. So. But yeah, so
So back on Borderlands though, Borderlands 4. I know Connor, or sorry, I'm gonna say that. I apologize. Koimiya, you're really excited about that. Brian, neo-deth and I are kind of like, we're excited, but whatever. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting that a lot of people were thinking that got moved up, that the release date for that got moved up because of Grand Theft Auto 6. They said no, and now they actually did a whole article on this.
Why did they move it up then?
So from what they're saying here, it was moved up because they have confidence in the game, not GTA 6's theoretical launch. Now, this article came out before they announced that GTA 6 was pushed back. Right. But yeah, it's not the reason that they moved it up. They actually just have confidence that they'll be completely done getting all the bugs out a week early.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like a major move up either. It's only, what, a week? Yeah, so I mean,
come out like, am I wrong? I thought it was supposed to come out at the beginning of October.
No, it was like the last week of September, and now it's like an earlier week of September.
Okay, then I'm wrong, because I thought it was supposed to come out in October, but then they're now pushing it up into September, which is where most of those games came out, usually in like September. So that's why I thought they were moving it. I mean, before this, but
yeah,
I guess I'm wrong on that.
No, I think initially it was supposed to be like September 25th.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it says it in the article, 23rd, and then 23rd. Now it's going to 16th or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they said here, we're super confident in the game. We are ready to launch early, so there was no sense in holding out. The sooner we launch, the sooner we'll also get feedback. We listen and learn, and are excited to get a bite at that apple as we are working on exciting post-launch efforts.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait
for the duping. I mean, what?
Right. Hell yeah.
I mean, that's why I play those games. It's like you can dupe, or you can cheat. You get overpowered weapon and just go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And then maybe I know neo-deth. I did find about the company suing Nintendo.
Okay. Perfect.
I found it here. So, because there is actually no good way to do this other than
how do you explain that to the people that are listening?
That is our segue sound.
A little graphic that pops up.
I guess you just have to tune into us, folks, on YouTube.
Watch us, yeah.
We do things and we don't necessarily know what we're doing. So,
Bite your tongue. We're professionals here. Suck it in.
Or something.
I like to go on like, we're professionals, ? I
always just think of the Ghostbusters when they first show up and they're like, got their hands on their belts. We're professionals. Suck it in, folks. Or guys.
But yeah, the company that leaked Switch 2 is being sued by Nintendo. Ginky used Nintendo's trademarks in violation of Nintendo's rights. And if you violate Nintendo's rights, they will come after you.
Oh yeah, with a huge fucking hammer.
It seems like Sega, if you violate theirs, they're going to be like, "Hey, you made a cool thing on based on our stuff. Come work for us." Nintendo's like, "Hey, you made a cool thing based on our stuff.
You're going to jail forever."
We'll see you in court, asshole. It's like Charlie had said at one point, it's like Nintendo is like one of those like, hey, we make family games that everybody likes, but if you make your own.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But yeah, it says here, remember when Ginky, the accessory maker behind products like the Shadowcast and SavePoint, showed off a mock-up of the Switch 2 at CES earlier this year, stealing a march on Nintendo's official unveiling? Well, it turns out Nintendo itself wasn't too thrilled at that surprise being ruined and is taking Ginky to court. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Is it Jinky or Ginky?
I have no idea.
No clue.
No clue.
Yeah, in the document spotted by Oatmeal Dome, because that sounds fun. Nintendo claims that Genki demoed and promoted unauthorized purported mock-ups and rendering of the Nintendo Switch 2 and its accessories at CES, infringing its trademarks.
I mean, it wasn't just that though. It was also like you were getting like official leaks from wherever it's being made also like beforehand, so they literally had to put something out or they were just going to be left with their dick in their hand like, yep, that's our system, we have no information on it.
Yeah, their CEO, Genki's CEO Edward Tsai, is also charged with showing 3D printed mock-ups and claiming that Genki had no access, or I'm sorry, Genki had or had access to an authentic Switch 2 on which Genki based the mock-ups renderings and 3D printed mock-ups. Nintendo adds that Genki purportedly confirms specific highly confidential designs and functionality of the not yet announced at the time anyway, Nintendo Switch 2.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to probably be in some real bad hot water there.
Definitely.
Especially, I mean, didn't Nintendo go after? It wasn't Doug Bowser, the guy that works there, but it was another guy with the last name of Bowser. That was like that was on YouTube talking about Nintendo, and I think they went after him, and they actually won. It was like some sort of smear campaign that he was running against them.
You got Dark Flame here saying, we make games for the whole family, creates Mario Kart and Mario Party.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole family can play those, so they're not.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're going to stay a family.
Especially in Mario Kart, if you get that blue shell, we are.
We a boxing.
Yeah, I remember. What was it? It was I think we were at Rachel's, my wife's brother's house or something like that, and we were playing Mario Kart, and I was right behind her with the blue shell, and she was like, "If you launch that at me," I was like, Now I was like kind of looking at her brother, and then we were like, "Do I do it? Do I do it?" I'm not sure if I should or not. Of course, she ended up hitting a wall, and I launched it at my nephew instead. My nephew was just like, "Ah," I was like, "See, he at least got an awe out of it. You would have been like screaming and swearing and crying."
Right.
Let me see if I can find this. Nintendo sues Bowser. Just Bowser released from prison still has to pay Nintendo $10 million. Okay, I did find it.
Was that the ROMs person?
I think so. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, Bowser released from prison, which sounds funny. Still has to pay Nintendo $10 million. Yeah, hack seller Gary Bowser says Nintendo can take 25% of his monthly income. The man sentenced to prison for 3 years for his role in a Nintendo Switch hack selling scheme has been released early. Yeah, but he says that he will have to pay Nintendo a portion of whatever income he makes every month for a very long time as part of a $10 million settlement with the company. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo doesn't need this guy's $10 million. I think this is more just they're trying to make an example out of him.
Yeah, they're definitely making a.
I mean, he's never ever gonna pay that off, right?
No,
unless he was like a movie star, or came up with something else. But yeah, like he's never gonna make it.
Especially,
I understand you being like protective of your IPs, but like if your fans want it, re-release these games. Like a lot of these things are so you can play the old games, and then here you are online, and you just like trickle them out. Here's a couple games. Oh, we'll hit you up in 2 more years. We'll put out some more. Like motherfuckers, I want to play these games. I got that feel. I want the nostalgia of playing it on a big screen and it not looking like crap.
If I want to play the absolute best of the Friday the 13th games, oh yeah. Hey, we also best buyers.
I don't know how to remove those.
I go in and I know that I can.
You have to go into your
Delete
chat
them?
and just delete it.
Yeah, but then there's always something new that comes up like the next day.
Oh, of course. I've already, like I said, I've already deleted like 3 or 4 kick bots.
Oh, just today?
During this show, yeah. So, Neil, you talk about nostalgia and playing it on the big screen and not looking like crap. Have you played the Oblivion remaster or remake, depending on your point of view?
No, I have not.
I've downloaded it, but I haven't played it.
I haven't even bought it.
It is gorgeous. I'm loving it.
I remember I was gonna buy that game when it first came out on PS3, or not right when it came out. At some point, I was like, "Oh, I should get that game," but it just never did. So I don't have that nostalgic feeling because I've never played it.
I never played the original.
neo-deth. My wife just walked in and can see what you're wearing, and she's seeing it for the first time. Here, you can step on camera over here. Even though we're on Spotify, they can't see you, but they can hear you.
They said I had to wear a hat. Here's my hat.
Right there's the camera. She's like, what the hell is he wearing?
It's Harley. I know that.
She's like, yeah, it's Harley.
It's just like, what the?
She walked in. She was not expecting to see you on the screen here and on the screen over here going like, what's he wearing? We told him he had to wear a hat, and we said it had to be a top hat, and that's the best he had.
I mean, I do have a top hat somewhere, but...
Oh. Somebody needs to go GameStop or something.
Somebody needs to go to GameStop or something.
Dark, that's like you have to do it because of the things that you can do in the character creator. Weird Faces is like almost a tradition for Oblivion, apparently. So
yeah, I've seen it played. I have not played it myself, but I do have it downloaded on. Rachel, Dark Flame says hi, Cyclops' wife. I don't know if you heard. She's like hi. But yeah, I've seen it played. It looks like a lot of fun. And I've seen people saying like you need to do a few side missions before you start the main missions, but that's almost any RPG. Right?
Yes,
Facebook keeps popping up like different videos of, hey, you can get the best weapons super early, or the best arrows and the lockpick, and I'm like, now I kind of want to play and go get those things super early and just like murder everything as I'm going.
It's so good. It's probably going to be my next platinum.
Wow, that's pretty big for you.
It'll be
almost
platinum
as big as you streaming.
Dude, it'll be platinum number 3 for 2025. So, but I'm just going to ignore that comment. But yeah, no, it's I started streaming Claire Obscure, and Oblivion has just taken over my life.
Really?
And so it's like I want to finish Oblivion before I go back to Claire Obscure and give it the attention that it fully deserves, because I've been hearing nothing but great things about Claire Obscure.
Right.
And like the hour and a half to 2 hours that I've played of it, I've absolutely loved. And
speaking of that game, is the main character based off of Robert Pattinson? Because I've watched your playthrough, and I'm like, that dude the main character, the guy, looks like Robert Pattinson. I'm like,
I don't see Robert Pattinson. I just got instant Jake Gyllenhaal vibes. Like,
I can see that too. Yeah.
Here's the fun thing I didn't know right away is that guy is actually voiced by Charlie Cox, Daredevil. Oh, really? And yeah, I didn't know that. So, but I was, when I was playing it, the one girl, like as soon as I started playing it, I'm like, she sounds like Shadowheart from Baldur's Gate 3. And so I Googled it, and it's the same voice actress. I'm like, that is totally fucking Shadowheart. And then I know that the guy who does Gollum, Andy Serkis? Yeah, Andy Serkis he voices some character in the game, but I have not come across it yet. So
because I went and I looked at the characters, I'm like, is it Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, no, but
yeah. So yeah, with you guys talking about Obscure, which is Expedition 33. I actually just saw here just recently that if I can. Oh,
Stop that!
Sorry, sorry, go
I
ahead.
had it up for you.
You literally had it up, but
Sorry.
I'm doing the things behind the scenes. You worry about your stuff.
Okay. French President Emmanuel Macron gives a shout out to Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on Instagram, saying, "You are a shining example of French audacity and creativity." Now, when the president of the country is praising a video game,
Right,
and not just shitting on it like a lot of them like to do, you know, this is that's actually pretty freaking huge. And who knows if this guy's actually played it? I'm assuming maybe he has, or at least some people in his organization have. But still, 14 years after Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk presented U.S. President Barack Obama with a copy of The Witcher 2 as an official diplomatic gift, which is freaking awesome, I think, on its own. French President Emmanuel Macron is getting in on the recognizing of cultural value of video games actions. No, he hasn't added Donald Trump to his Steam friends list, but he did take a moment out of his surely busy day to shout out French developer studio Sandfall Interactive for its big success with Claire Obscure Expedition 33, saying 1 million copies to date of one of the best rated games in history. And yes, it's French. Macron wrote on Instagram that was actually translated by Google, saying, "Congratulations, Sandfall Interactive and all the creators of Expedition 33. You are a shining example of French audacity and creativity." Why can't our politicians sit here and say how great video games are? Why do we have to blame them every time something bad happens?
I mean, different culture.
Well, the funniest thing is this is Sandfall's first game, and I believe it's a team of 30 people, and the game is just phenomenal. So for the president to recognize that is just freaking awesome. And you know, it definitely, I'm happy for them. And I saw an article that said that, you know, a lot of people were concerned with Oblivion Shadow dropping the same essentially day that Claire Obscure came out. That, you know, they were asked if it's affected their sales at all, and the developers of Claire Obscure have said flat out that it has, but not in a bad way. It's actually helped their sales because now with everybody playing Oblivion, they want to play more RPGs.
Right.
And so they've got more people checking out this Claire Obscure. And I think the fact that both Oblivion and Claire Obscure being on the Game Pass, that's probably helped out immensely too.
Oh, I'm sure.
There's no way it didn't.
Especially with, you know, it being Sandfall's first game, and people are going to be like, I want to check this out, but I don't want to necessarily drop money on it. With it being on Game Pass is a nice touch. But yeah, I highly recommend. It's been getting nothing but great reviews, and I highly recommend it. Like I said, I've only played about 2 hours of it. I literally got past the first chapter, and I'm at the beginning of the second chapter, I think. Or maybe I'm at the beginning of the first chapter, and I got past the prologue. But
you got past something.
I did. It's going to be great, and that's why I said I want to finish Oblivion. And like my one friend said, Oblivion's 100 to 200 hours, whereas Claire Obscure is 30 to 40. My definition of finishing Oblivion is getting the platinum trophy, and thankfully, this trophy list or achievement list is a lot more basic than Skyrim's was.
All right.
It literally is basically for the platinum. All you got to do is finish all the main quest lines, and then finish all the quest lines in each of the different guild, all the Mage Guild, all the Thieves Guild, all the Dark Brotherhood, and all the Fighter. And that's it. There's no discover 100 locations. There's no hit level 50. There's none of that shit. It's literally just do all the main quests and you'll get the platinum trophy.
Okay.
So it's a turn-based combat though, right?
Claire Obscure is not Oblivion.
I was gonna say no.
Yeah, not Oblivion, but Clair Obscur.
No, Clair Obscurus, but it's also got the like kind of like Mario RPG and all that, where you have to time presses to
Oh, really?
do more damage or to parry and block. Yeah.
Yeah, and here I found this. I couldn't find the actual article, which actually just pulled up right here.
Yep, they always put it in the stupid comments.
Yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 publisher says that the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remastered Shadow Drop actually benefited the game by drawing attention to quality RPGs that week.
Yeah,
we felt pretty confident that we could stand beside it. So I wonder if they knew that it was going to drop. I wonder if like the insiders knew, or because I mean that Oblivion dropping kind of shocked the hell out of everyone. It seemed like
that was one of the biggest, worst kept secrets on the internet. That Shadow Drop was not a big surprise.
I don't remember hearing much about it other than they were going to maybe work on Elder Scrolls, and I was like, why aren't we working on 6? You know, the one that everyone's been waiting for how many years?
8 years now, I think.
Yeah,
was when it was first teased.
So, but I mean, it is cool that we got that, and it's great that it's helping out a developer that may not have gotten any of that recognition otherwise.
Yeah. No, Clair Obscur is fantastic. Like I said, I can't wait.
I didn't know that it was a turn-based. That might actually pique my attention because those are my kind of RPGs.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Okay. So I know.
And what cracks me up is like everybody's. What cracks me up is like everybody's all now like yelling at Square because Square basically has said that nobody wants turn-based anymore, and that's why the last few Final Fantasies have been the real-time action. And
action.
Now Clair Obscur came out of the left field, and everybody's just singing its praises, and they're like, "See, Square, see."
They want it. They just want it done right. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, Square was the one that originally made them, so you would think, like even like the Final Fantasy VII remake, I was like hoping that they were going to still keep that in there. And you could kind of tweak it to get it there, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't fully, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of something that it kind of surprised me, I don't know. Did you guys hear about what was going on with Respawn?
Layoffs?
I briefly saw it. Yeah, layoffs.
Well, yeah.
I will be right back.
Okay.
You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, it was actually right here I don't know if you had seen this, neo-deth. Respawn cancels projects and they were hit with layoffs. I'm a little surprised with that because they do the Star Wars Jedi games, and I thought those were selling really well. You know, you always hear people heaping praise on those two games, which rightfully so. I don't know if you've played those or not. Right. Oh, you haven't?
I think I did. Which ones were theirs?
So there was Star Wars. There was Star Wars Jedi, and then there, which was Fallen Order. That's actually got the guy that played Joker or Jerome from Gotham.
Yes. I played the first one. I haven't played the second one, and yes, those are actually pretty rare games. I didn't know that was a Respawn.
Yeah, so
I was trying to think if it was that one or the shooter one that they put out like a couple years ago.
So, well, there was. I honestly think Jedi, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the first one had a better story, but Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the second one, had better gameplay.
Okay.
Like it was easier to navigate everything. I thought it was, and it still wasn't perfect, but it was a lot easier to navigate everything, know where you were going. There was another one of those where it's just side quest after side quest after side quest, but yeah. So
I platted the first one, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, it was great, and they've already announced. I guess Stig Larsson, who is the director of the first two games and also directed the original God of War 3, he was going to be back, and so they've already said it's out of the two games being hit, it is not Star Wars Jedi. You're still going to get a third one.
Okay.
But they had also announced that they were going to do Titanfall 3 or possibly do Titanfall 3. And a lot of people are wondering now if Titanfall 3 is the sequel to Titanfall 2, which is one of the most best and underrated games on the PlayStation 3. Actually, just first-person shooters of all time, I think. Now they're saying Titanfall 3 may never come to fruition because of this.
I mean, you have a problem in that the video games industry as a whole, because I've read a couple books on it, where layoffs are a huge thing in that industry. And that's kind of where they were trying to unionize them also, just so
Mm.
that they don't have this problem where, you get all these people on to do this game, you get it out, and then you just lay them off. Like all their hard work is gone. And if you want to make another one, you have to build up a whole new team. And that's why you always see a bunch of people like kind of jumping around to different games also. It's just that industry is very layoff heavy.
Mm. Yeah, layoffs have never been a new thing for the gaming industry, but it's hit really hard over the last 3 years. Like millions of people are just like, and part of that it was because of COVID. Honestly, because I mean, think about it. With COVID, everyone was inside and they needed these developers to put out these games because people were playing video games more. But
Right.
then like Twitch started
Kind
putting
of had
like
their boom, like a video game boom.
yeah, but then Twitch, I know Twitch was hit with layoffs, but it was like they were laying off people with like the most obscure titles. They were like, the director of the action sequence PlayStation coffee runners assistant, and it was like, what are you doing? Why does the assistant need an assistant with the assistant and they need an assistant? What kind of job running there?
Right.
So, sorry to interject here.
That's okay.
I was just looking on Facebook.
Oh, boy.
This is completely un-video game related or anything, but to give you an idea of the town that I live in, this is on the scanner page from 12 minutes ago.
Uh-oh.
Caller reporting patrons at the bar next to a restaurant in town had horses on the sidewalk, horses defecated on sidewalk, and people were letting them drink alcohol.
That's Wisconsin, folks. That's
Wow.
Yeah. That's just another Saturday in my town.
Hey, let's go down to the bar and get the horses drunk.
Mhm. Well, I don't know why that reminds me of Back to the Future 3. Remember that? He's like, if you want water, go dunk your head in the trough. Here, we serve whiskey. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
but apparently in Wisconsin, they have whiskey in the trough.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, going back to our story, now that we're back on it, like
No, we're
the
not.
other thing is like the buyouts. Like the companies keep getting bought out by other bigger companies. Now they're all under the same umbrellas, and you're like, well, we don't need that many studios making the games,
Right.
unless you're like the 2K. They've got Montreal, they've got Australia, they've got all of them kind of separated out, but even those ones get hit with those too. But yeah, I think it's just the corporations of it trying to make games and whatnot.
Yeah, it's the same thing with like the gas station industry. I know, Koimia, you were talking about that. It seems like all of your gas stations get bought out.
Right.
Does Road Ranger even exist anymore?
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they do. A couple of them.
Under another name.
Probably.
Yeah, and speaking of games that we never thought that would exist, Koimia, I know that you were really excited about this one.
Uh-oh.
Half-Life 3 is reportedly playable in its entirety and could it be announced this year.
Will it though? Will it?
Now, the question is, will you be able to play Half-Life 3 before GTA 6?
Yeah.
Probably not. They'll probably release the same day.
I like how...
Could you imagine the nerd rage? The nerd rage.
There'd be riots in the street.
Wasn't that...
Valve, I would almost do that just for shits and giggles. Release it the same day as GTA 6.
Right. Wasn't there the VR one? Weren't people saying that was it kind of continues the story, but doesn't fully.
Yeah,
but who plays VR?
Like a 2.5 like slots in there or something.
yeah, but who played that? Honestly,
I mean, I didn't, but I remember reading the stories back when it came out.
I think it was like set in the same world, but I don't think it was part of the same story, or it had some of the same characters. So maybe it was like its own little side story.
Non-canonical. Non-canonical.
I remember it was something. So
Yeah, cue the new batch of Half-Life 3 confirmed memes. So yeah, and here it is. It's like, but take this latest rumor with a grain of salt. So,
right.
Yeah, playable
I
to the end.
mean-
So I'm hoping it's real, but I've been burned before.
Right.
I'm hoping it's real and it comes out the same day as GTA 6 now.
That would be so.
That is now my.
I mean, I think they also just need to do a remake
wish.
at this point, right? Nobody remembers what the fuck happened the last ones.
That's what
It's
YouTube is
so
for.
long.
Previously on Half-Life.
Right.
I remember hearing that there was a book a while ago that they were making into a movie called Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
It's a movie.
It's a
Yeah,
movie.
I know. They it was a book first, but they made it into a movie. And then I remember hearing that was in production at the same time as one of the Twilight movies, and I was like, I want both of those movies to release on the same day, just because I want to see something.
Yeah, that would have been clever marketing.
It's like get the Twihards in the theater at the same time as the Twihard killers in there, and it's like, hopefully nobody takes this seriously, but come on, that'd be kind of funny.
No, I
Yeah,
am now officially wanting Half-Life 3 and GTA 6 the same fucking day.
So you kind of
Make it
want
happen.
you
Make
kind
it happen, Valve.
You want a Barbenheimer kind of thing to happen for the video game industry.
Right.
Of epic proportions.
To be honest, I saw both of those movies. Both are fantastic. That is a hill I will die on, that the Barbie movie was fantastic.
Yeah, it was way better than I gave it any kind of credit I thought it would be. And it actually was entertaining. Like, it was a good movie all around. And then, and then I finally saw Oppenheimer and I was like, fuck.
I haven't seen the Barbie movie.
Watch it. It's actually good.
That's what I've heard.
Actually, and I like the Ken song. Like, I actually like that song. It's catchy
I'm just
as shit.
10. Anywhere else I'd be a 10. That's really good. That was a great musical number. Also, it had the guy from we were talking before, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. He plays one of the Kens. And I guess they actually said that they wanted Matt Damon and Robert Downey Jr. and Cillian Murphy to play different versions of Ken too, but they all had to turn it down because they were all like, "Sorry, we're doing Oppenheimer. We already signed on." And I want to say it's Cillian Murphy and Matt Damon have said, if you do Barbie 2, contact us. We'll do it.
I kind of hope they don't do another one. Like,
it's
one of those stories where it was good. It did its thing. Like, don't milk it, but they probably will. Oh, it made millions, so we got to rush out a new one.
I mean, it came clean out of left field. Who expected a Barbie movie? And then when they were like, "Oh, Margot Robbie," I was like, "Okay, I can see her." And then they were like, "Oh, and it's PG-13." I was like, "What? What do you mean it's PG-13? Who puts a PG-13 movie aimed at little girls?" Oh, it's not aimed at little girls. My wife was sitting here. We were kind of debating, like, what do we see this weekend, Oppenheimer or Barbie? I wanted to see Oppenheimer because I'm like, oh, just some fun little pink thing, whatever. And then she won, obviously. So we went and saw it, and I was like, okay, I stand corrected. This is probably one of the best movies of the year. And that speech that America Ferrera gives about how women are treated and they're like set to double standards and everything, but they can't act like it. And I was like, that speech probably took like 3 or 4 days to film. And that is probably one of the best movie speeches I've ever heard,
Yeah.
Next to Bill Pullman going like, "We will not go into the night. We will not die without a fight. Today is our Independence Day." I was like, that will always be the best.
Yeah.
No.
What?
Uh-oh.
Are you gonna say Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation? Hallelujah.
No, that
Where's the
was pretty good.
Tylenol?
No, I still think the one with Christ, no, I can't remember his name. He played what was it, Harry and Dumb and Dumber?
Oh, Jim Carrey? Or
No.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. He did it. I think it was a TV show, The Newsroom, and it's the clip about how America's not the greatest anymore.
Yes. Okay.
That's a fantastic fucking speech.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, when he goes about how bad liberals and conservatives are, and how we used to reach for the stars, and
Yep, yeah, that one.
now we're so
When
afraid.
he's doing like a Q&A at a college or something, and it's like a couple of different people on the stage, and he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. If you haven't, have you seen that, Neo? That clip that I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
I'll have to send it to you.
That's honestly, yeah, that's one of them that'll make you cry.
Oh,
yeah,
because of how accurate it is.
Right. Yeah.
So
that, in my opinion, is the best. So
oh yeah. And I know we were talking about this a little bit before the show. You know what? Again, there's no good way to do this. When I say there's no good way to do this, that's our cue to just hit that. But yeah, so did you guys hear so with Doom just put out a new trailer for their upcoming game, and for some reason it's a Bethesda game, Bethesda owned by Microsoft, and they decided to focus pretty heavily on PlayStation in their trailer here.
maybe because I'm just throwing this out here, the PS5 Pro is a little bit better than the Series X now. Because I noticed that the Borderlands State of Play was strictly, like, they made it very fucking clear at the beginning of the State of Play that this was all captured on the PS5 Pro.
Either that or they already had, like, an exclusive on it.
Okay, but why would Bethesda then do Doom with all PlayStation?
No, that's what I mean. Like Doom was the exclusive before they you know, they got bought out, so they still have to kind of, you know,
maybe
them.
Do you think? Yeah, you're thinking maybe they had an
still be on
exclusive,
every system probably when it releases.
Oh, it will. But do you think maybe they had a deal? Because I mean, Microsoft is really good about honoring like existing deals. Before, when they buy publishers, they honor any deal that publisher had with another console.
Right.
Like PlayStation, I don't know if they would have done that. You know, they'd be like, "Well, sucks for you," you know. But I mean, Microsoft has done similar things in the past where I guess Starfield was set to be a multi PlayStation and Xbox release. And then when they bought it, they said, nope, it's exclusive for us.
And it's now literally supposedly coming back to PlayStation anyway.
Is it?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Ooh, I might actually give it a try again. I was
playing it on
my... I've played it on my laptop and hooked it up to my TV.
Oh, he's playing that speech there. But yeah, I am really excited. I mean, so everyone was so upset about Grand Theft Auto 6 getting pushed back a year, and I'm upset about it too. But at the same time, I'm like, there's so many great games coming out. We'll be fine. You got this one. You got Borderlands 4. You got Mafia: The Old Country. Don't we still have Reanimal and Little Nightmares 3?
Probably
got a decent Call of Duty.
The problem is you're kind of in the drought right now. This is the time where they're kind of low on games, and then, you know, summertime to Christmas, like that's when usually the big releases come out. And
well, like, I'm not gonna lie. I'll tell you right now, if Clair Obscur does not get Game of the Year, I would be shocked.
Oh, you're going that far with it.
I'm saying that Clair Obscur is probably going to be Game of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah, but
so I'm wondering if South of Midnight is gonna. I'm gonna start playing that, and I've heard nothing but great things. And I'm wondering if that'll at least get a nomination for Game of the Year.
It should. It should. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, let me rephrase that. I personally believe Clair Obscure should get Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm. For now.
But the way freaking voters work and all that, I wouldn't be surprised if people throw Dragon Age a bone and give that Game of the Year. So,
do you think that's the way voters will be? Well, they'll do that with Dragon Age. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if
voters
it got a nomination.
It'll get a nomination for sure, and voters won't throw it the bone, but Game Awards will.
Wasn't that what happened with Balustro too?
Blatro?
Oh yeah, Blatro. That's it.
Possibly. Having said that, Balatro's fun as hell.
I mean,
have you played it?
I have. It is a good game, but there was no way I would think that as Game of the Year. It is good. It has replayability.
It was made by one person.
True. I mean that's not what's taken into account though.
Well, no. But you got to look at the whole big picture, like you said, the replayability, the ease of play, the price. I'm sure the fact that you could get it pretty much on every platform helped.
Yeah, I think now they've even got it where you can play it on your phone now.
I'm sure they do.
I keep seeing ads. You can
your bathroom breaks are going to be longer now, or something
right.
like that. Yeah, the same ad. Yeah. So
it's good marketing. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just like what was I saying there? That Grand Theft Auto 6 releasing on the same day as Half-Life 3 would be good marketing. Probably horrible for the actual industry.
I mean, you would have so many fanboys rioting.
I am now going to pray to the old gods and the new that it happens.
You want the chaos.
I embrace the chaos. Nerd rage is the greatest thing ever, especially when it's like the launch of a new MMO. Just to go to their forums and it's like one name your first day, like it's just...
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same thing with like World of Warcraft. Every new expansion, you expect it to be better because they've learned from the last one. Nope.
Yeah, same with Diablo, and I mean that's still Blizzard, but
yeah.
That's another one. Learn from the last one? Question mark.
But yeah.
I did have a question. It just popped into my head. Did either of you get a Switch 2 reserved?
No.
Or did you try? No.
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
I'm not excited enough.
Actually, I wanted to bring that up. I forgot that the fact that the way they had it releasing was confusing as fuck. At least it was for me because it was on the 24th at midnight. So I thought it was the 24th at midnight, but it was the 23rd technically at midnight. Like,
do you want to hear the real kicker? One of my coworkers, she was. Because I worked third shift, so I was coming in when she was getting ready to leave. So that's one reason why I didn't pre-order. It was because I was working when the pre-orders went live. But she thought it was midnight everywhere, when in reality it was 11 p.m. our time. So she didn't even realize it for like half an hour until she started seeing all these posts of her friends on Facebook and shit saying it, and she's like, "What?" And so, but
different time zones.
The thing that cracks me up is.
Why would you release it that late?
Yeah, the thing that cracks me up is Nintendo is saying, there's going to be enough Switch 2s for everybody that wants one. And now they're saying, oh, you might get it on launch day if you're lucky.
Right.
Well, what the fuck happened in between there? If there wasn't, where did there's going to be enough for everybody.
They oversold at other places?
The bot.
Well, they also claimed that they were doing that to combat the scalpers,
right?
And that just kind of went, and so.
But yeah, now Switch 2 is not launching on June 5th of 2025 throughout Central America and the Caribbean.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yep,
It is not launching the same day as GTA 6.
Everything's coming out that day.
That would be
Cats and
fun.
dogs living together, mass hysteria.
So yeah, I saw this here. Switch 2 not launching June 5th, 2025 throughout Central America and the Caribbean. So it's time to move. Like how they just put that time to move. Yeah, much of the gaming world is gearing up for the June 25th, 2025, and that's when the Switch 2 is set to launch. Sadly, that's not going to be the case everywhere, though. Some parts of the world are going to be left waiting until considerably longer or later.
That's a shame.
Yeah, Nintendo has made it clear that the Switch 2 is not going to launch June 25th throughout Central America and the Caribbean. Nintendo said this is due to those regions not having the Nintendo eShop, along with the fact that Nintendo believes that the markets in Central America and the Caribbean to be too small to justify the effort. That's not to say release in those parts of the world will never happen, but it appears to be off the table for the time being.
I would think Central America would be.
Yeah, and here's the Guatemala, Belize, and I apologize if I say these wrong, but Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica.
Pretty fucking big places.
Costa Rica is freaking huge, and that's in American territory. I'm kind of surprised about that. But Panama, and then Cuba, Dominican Republic, Haiti. I would think that Cuba would be big enough, and the Dominican Republic. But okay, Haiti, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, non-incorporating territory of the U.S. I didn't know there was two parts of Puerto Rico, but that might be my own ignorance. Trinidad and Tobago. Barbados, the Bahamas. Okay, I'm surprised with the Bahamas.
Are you the Beach Boys song, or are you?
Yeah, St. Lucie, Bermuda, Bahama.
Well, I mean, all of those that you listed are pretty much in that song.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fucking Kokomo over there.
Baby, why don't we go to Bermuda? Bahama.
No, you don't want to go there because you're not getting the Switch 2.
Exactly. You can get those coconut drinks anywhere. Did you ever see the Muppet version of that?
No.
The Muppet singing Kokomo?
No.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to find that and send that to you guys.
Okay.
That's classic Muppets, back when Kermit actually sounded like Kermit.
So when Jim Henson was doing his voice,
I think it was his son Brian at that point.
Okay,
but
I think it's back to that. Like maybe that's why they're not releasing it there, because they're trying to pump more numbers that are going to buy it in United States or pre-orders or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been looking at it. I mean, I've started following Wario X or whatever.
Yeah, on
Wario Wario 64 on X. Sorry.
Yeah.
You can tell I don't get on X at all.
Wait.
I mean, the only reason I ever did it back in the day was when PS5s were so scarce. I would get on there just to find out who was restocking on them, and I was able to get a buddy of mine a PS5 or two buddies PS5s. One of them I gave him a buddy for birthday, which I think he's watching. How's it going, Colton?
Hi.
But that's basically the only reason I turned it back on, is to see if maybe I could get a Switch 2 that way, see when they're going to restock. And they've been saying Costco's going to get them, but they're going to be in store. So I may go that route, try and see if I can get it in Costco. But I've watched some of those Pokemon videos from Costco's, and I'm gonna have to bring some weapons. I think it's kind of crazy there.
Did I ever tell you guys the story of how I got my PS5?
Not that I know of.
Possibly.
So
story time.
So yeah, it's just real quick, and it's a little tangent, but it's gaming related. So so I found out that I had been trying to get a PS5, and that was at the time where they went live and they were gone within like 5 seconds. Right. Well, I had found out that GameStop's website was going to have PS5s, And I was like, awesome. So this was at the time when we were getting those stimulus checks during COVID.
Right.
And we weren't buying a whole lot because there was nowhere to go out and buy stuff. Nowhere was open. So my wife and I, we actually had extra money in the account. We were going to get we were going to get our regular paychecks that following Friday. And then the following Monday, we were supposed to get our stimulus check. So I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm going to buy one of these PS5s. If I see it, I'm getting it. She was like, okay, get those, get yourself a game. And, but don't spend more than, it was like $600 or $700. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. It might go a little bit over with tax. And she's like, that's fine, but just no more than like 700. So they launch them. I'm actually working at that time. I'm sitting, I got my headset on. I'm talking to the people my client, and I'm like, I got to do this now. So I go in there, and of course I go to buy the system and it says it's sold out, but I'm like, wait, what about bundles? So I go to the bundle and I was like, PlayStation, there's an extra controller and 3 games and a $20 gift card to GameStop available. And I'm like, okay, wait, this is $800. Over this is going to be $850. She said, don't spend more than $650. And I literally went, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I did it, and I got all the way through, and I thought I was going to get to the end and be like sniped and have no thing. And it says, thank you for your order. And I'm like, sweet. Oh, fuck. Now I got to go explain this.
I actually have to go explain this.
So I went over, and, she was in the other room at the time, and I walk in there, and I'm like, so promise you're not going to be mad? And she's like, no, I'm not going to promise that. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you what happened then. We just kind of go back and forth, and she's like, what did you do? And I'm like, so I got it as a bundle, and it was $850. She's like, what? Like, she literally freaks out. Like, I was kind of scared. Like, baby. Boy, you look pretty today. Like that. And then I was like, wait. I got her to calm down for a second. I was like, look. I was like, we had this extra money here. We still have this much in the account. It is Wednesday. We get paid on Friday. That'll take care of rent. That'll take care of these bills. Plus, we're getting the $1,200 or whatever it was from Biden, whatever that extra was. From the Biden administration, which is putting out the stimulus. So why? Well, yeah, it was Biden. COVID. Yeah, well, it was the one that came out during Biden's administration, but I think Biden just approved it. Okay. Yeah. So the last one we got, and I was like, so you get an extra $1,200. So we're still gonna have like this much in the account, and she was like, oh. So what games did we get? And I was like, oh, wow, that just did a 180 on there.
I mean, I remember when those went live, and I was trying to get it, I think, from Best Buy or a couple different places, and I would have it in my cart, and I would try and go to check out, and the whole fucking system would crash, and I'd lose it. And I'm like, God damn it. And then luckily, I think like a day later, PlayStation or Sony like emailed me and said, hey, we're gonna have them on this day. You're welcome to get in there. It's no rush. Yep. It's not gonna be anything like that. I'm like, perfect. And I was able to get in there and get it smooth transaction. And then, that's how I got it day one from Sony.
Sorry, just having fun with the green screen there. Yeah, I remember having that happen too, because I'd get in there, get in line, and then they'd be like, all right, it's a free for all.
Yeah, the system or the website would crash, or it would be, like you said, get sniped out of your cart. Like, it was. I've had that happen a couple of times on some Blizzard or Wizards products too, when they were doing special promos, and we're like, why has nobody learned how to set up websites where it's not going to completely crash with this many people coming into it? You know that you're going to have that drive to your site.
Because reasons.
Yeah, no one ever learns from it.
So, but yeah, and speaking of prices of stuff, I saw that Microsoft, if you want to hit that, See, I'm thinking if one of us hits this and the other one makes it go onto the screen, then we won't have so many problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft
Teamwork
just
makes the dream work.
Exactly. Yeah, they increased the prices of all their Xboxes. Better grab it before the hikes go into effect. I don't think they're in effect as of right now, but maybe
I
they
thought
are.
it went like into
May
effect
1st.
right away.
May 1st.
May 1st? Okay, so 2 days ago.
Yep.
Yeah, so an Xbox Series S is now $380, which is an increase from $300. The Xbox Series S with a 1 terabyte is $430, up from $350. So don't tell me these tariffs are not making this happen. You know,
Either that or
our
they're just
president,
being greedy.
our president sits there is like, oh, it won't make prices go up. Like, my ass, it won't.
Right. He doesn't know how a fucking toilet works. So
You orange turd, as they call him. Or like I was calling him 2 weeks ago, what, Agent Orange? Because pretty much he destroys everything he touches.
Pretty much.
And we're not going to get political here, but at least
No, never.
we already did. But yeah, but what's kind of shocking me on all this is not only did this go up, but the digital games are going up as well. Did that switch over on this side?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the digital games are going up too, and this doesn't make sense. This is one reason is simply that the publisher can charge more. They can, and they can say, "Sorry, we need more money to make the game," and it's like, this really?
Digital should never be more expensive or about the same price as physical. Like physical, I understand I've said this about 12 times recently, and like that should not make the price go up for digital because you don't have to make the disc, you don't have to make the packaging, you don't have to shrink wrap it, you don't have to send it, ship it to the store, you don't have to do any of that shit. It's direct to the customer.
Mm-hmm.
It should be cheaper than physical.
At least
$10. There's no
cheaper.
reason you should up the price of your digitals when you're upping everything else. Like it's just them being greedy. Fucking corporations being greedy. By the way, my wife says I look ridiculous in this hat.
I thought you just wear it for a minute. I didn't think you'd wear it for the rest of the show.
I'm actually thinking about I'm going to wear this during my raid tonight after the show.
You know, if you ever have a job interview, you should wear that.
That's cold outside. I had to wear my hat today.
Do it in the middle of summer too, where it's like you just have sweat pulling down. Of course, then you've got colored hair, so it'd be like colored sweat pouring down.
I mean, yes.
You know, next time you do a mohawk, I think you should do the green color just to see if the green screen in the back makes your head disappear.
I was saying, I bet you. I was like, told the wife, I'm like, I bet you, it'll make my hair go like I'm bald. Like you wouldn't know I had a mohawk.
So that'd be awesome. Okay, that's another thing. Koimiya, you should also maybe dye your beard green, just to see if half of your face shows.
I've done that. I've dyed the green screen though. Mohawk.
Wait, you don't have a green screen?
No.
He uses software. He said that before. It's an NVIDIA experience.
An NVIDIA broadcast.
That's right.
Because when I remember when we were doing ours, and it was just the digital background. It was like everything going on haywire.
I've never used a green screen.
Green screens are fun.
So
thank you for this one, Brian.
Yeah, no problem.
We still want the one that you've got, but I'm like, you know what? This was free and it's fun. So,
yeah, I mean the one I have is nice to be able to just bring it down instantaneously.
Yeah, this we just gotta work those two screws around, and then we gotta move it off to the side. So then we're like, wait, because we gotta put it in the closet over here. It's like because that one bar that holds the actual screen,
right?
It doesn't collapse in like I thought it did. But I'm like, so just maneuver this way. Don't rip the screen,
Right.
But yeah, so this was just so weird. It was like outside market conditions and development costs. Microsoft is saying rather vague about suddenly raising the prices for so many Xbox products. It's possibly related to the new Trump administration tariffs. I don't think the tariffs would really have much to do with digital games, though. because you're
No,
not
they wouldn't at
shipping
all.
anything.
Right. I can see for the hardware because everything is made overseas, Taiwan and China and all that. They're the ones that make all our chips and everything.
Mhm.
But for digital games, that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
And the way that he keeps flip flopping on if he's turned on his tariffs, hasn't turned on his tariffs, or who it's affecting and what. Like, I don't know half the time if like it is going to affect that, and they're just doing it to get more money.
I'm thinking it's just more money.
I mean,
It's really because Microsoft has already admitted that Sony is outpacing them and that they've won the console wars, so to speak. And I'm wondering if this is just a way of them trying to make up for it financially. Because I mean, think about it. They did spend billions of dollars to acquire Activision. They spent billions of dollars to get Bethesda and all those other ones. Like,
right.
So I mean, they got to make it up somehow, and it's not all going to come from sales.
I'm guessing next cycle of systems that they'll bow out, or they'll combine with Nintendo, because they've kind of been doing that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then go that route, or go like Sony or Sega. That's the one I want.
Become more of a software company.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we will see.
Yep, and speaking of Trump's tariffs here, Amazon's tariff cost info is a hostile act. Amazon denies report. So for the uninitiated on this, I know I was talking to you guys. See why I call him Agent Orange? Look at his color here.
I mean, no real human looks that color, right? So he's got to be a fucking alien or something.
He's an Oompa Loompa.
Or the devil in disguise.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so the tariffs, apparently it was being reported that Jeff Bezos, or not Jeff Bezos, but because he's not with Amazon anymore, but they were going to do on Amazon, they were going to actually put the price of the actual product and then put the tariff difference on there too, saying you're paying this much for tariffs and this much for the actual price. So here's how much the tariffs are actually pushing it up. And apparently Trump's administration was saying that's a hostile act because, he said that it won't affect tariffs.
He doesn't want the American people to know how badly he's fucking them, right?
Exactly.
That's all it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want people to go, actually, hey, wait a minute, maybe this wasn't the best idea.
Yeah. I have people tell me, like, I used to be a big supporter of him, but not anymore. And I'm like, I'm still going to judge you that you were a big supporter of him, but it's great that you're not anymore.
Great that you finally see that he doesn't give two fucks about anybody but himself and his other billionaire friends. But anyways.
Yeah, but it's unclear if they're still partnered with the Chinese government, because the Chinese government was the one that was pushing Amazon to do this. And I'm like, well, yeah, because Trump is basically trying to make China our enemy. And he's doing a good job of it,
I mean,
yeah, Americans should buy more American products to share up the supply chain in the States before declining to comment on whether or not Jeff Bezos still supports President Trump. Bezos owns Amazon as well as the Washington Post. I think it's funny when billionaires fight, because then we get to just see how childish they really are.
I mean, yes.
Now, Koimiya, what did you think about all that anyway? I mean, I don't know if you're more of the business person, but
I just think it's ridiculous. Like, the whole thing's ridiculous.
Oh, did you get too hot in that hat?
Yeah, it was getting a little toasty. And look, the mohawk's still in one piece.
Wow, I'm surprised it's still standing.
I have that much shit in there to keep it up. What was that?
I said, what all do we have left? Because I got to get going soon.
That was really it. Other than just we said if we had time, we would talk about the YouTube blurring the mature videos, but we can save that if you want to.
You guys can keep talking about it. I got to get going.
Okay, no problem. No, I was just putting on here that let me put that back on. Yeah, YouTube will blur thumbnails for mature videos as part of a new test. Basically, if you look up something that could be NSFW, even if the thumbnail itself is not NSFW, they're gonna blur it so that you know it is. Kind of like how Google does.
Right, but
And-
like when on my YouTube, I specifically and my Twitch, I specifically say, I'm mature. I swear, I don't hold back. But like, is that gonna all of a sudden get me a blur? Not that I'm making any money off of YouTube.
Probably.
Yes.
But that's ridiculous. Like that should not get you a blur just because you use profanity.
Even if it's just a picture of you on there, they're gonna blur it.
Right.
But that doesn't stop them from clicking on it, though. Because think about it, like the parental advisory sticker on CDs used to be what kind of drew us towards it,
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I would see it and go, hey, well, maybe it's good.
So
But,
it's just going to be like that.
I mean, I don't know why the thumbnail? Like, leave the thumbnail alone. Obviously, unless it's actually showing something bad, there's no reason to blur the thumbnail.
Yeah. But yeah, that was really just the last story. Just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about. Sounds like Koimia's got to get going, and we've been going for a little over 2 hours here, so we can.
It's getting to be dinner time here.
But
So
okay, how about this, Brian? I will get the actual things, and you put it up. You hit the add to stage.
I'm gonna put it up, folks. You take that how you
like
want.
your hair.
Yes.
Just so you know, neo-deth has a very dirty mind.
No, you there's no way I do.
No, it's a clean mind. It's just things inside of it.
I clean it out every day.
So, all right. Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us.
You.
Definitely thank you for the interactions here. Was there anything else that you guys wanted to say before we end it for the week?
No, just
go
ahead, Koimiya.
I think we should reiterate the fact that we are now officially on Spotify,
Yes.
which is awesome.
So you can now listen to us on there.
Our sexy voices.
I don't know how sexy that is, but all right.
Do you enjoy listening, baby? Okay, somebody's gonna clip that, and that's gonna be like a sound bite everywhere now.
But yeah, that's all I got.
When are you streaming anytime soon, Koimiya? Do you have anything scheduled?
Put me on the spot, you asshole.
Yeah. I thought we could give a shout out to when you catch us next.
So here's the thing.
Sorry.
No, here's the thing. I would like to stream soon, but because Oblivion has completely sucked my life away, I don't plan on streaming Oblivion.
Why not?
So
Oblivion's a good one to stream right now.
Content. That's how I see it. If it's what people are playing, that's why I was playing.
Exactly, it's what people are playing, so they're not going to be watching me play it when they can fucking play it themselves.
I've gotten plenty of people watching my Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. I might throwing up the quotations here. I might tonight. I don't know. Just the easiest ways to follow me on Twitter as KoimiaX, KoimiaX. Or follow me on Beamstream. You can see my thing there, beamstream.gg/KoimiaX, and just follow me when I go live.
All right.
So.
Yep, and then I will be streaming. I probably won't be streaming tonight, but I'll definitely be streaming on Monday. I will actually be starting South of Midnight, which Koimiya has said many times is an amazing game, and I honestly cannot wait to play it.
I've never led you wrong.
Hey, he's the one that told me to play Doki Doki Literature Club, and that totally fucked with my head.
Yes.
All right.
I know Neo would disagree with me when I say Alpha Protocol, but
No.
It's the bane of his existence. What about you, Dad?
You can catch me tonight at 8 Eastern. I will be streaming World of Warcraft. We're continuing our raid in Heroic. And then, Monday, I think I go back to Magic the Gathering. But you can catch my schedule on Twitch. twitch.tv/neo-deth.
Players, go buy World of Warcraft, install it on your computer, and join the online sensation before we all murder you.
Yes, that.
You need to get you're on the TikToks. You need to get on Twitter now.
I mean, I'm on Twitter. I just don't use it. Like,
Yeah.
It's
Well,
but I mean, I've slacked off on my TikToks too. I haven't posted anything recently there because I went focusing more on YouTube and trying to get my streams cut up into actual videos and releasing them like the day after type thing.
see, my passive aggressive way of doing TikTok is I'm just gonna sit here and let Cyclops clip a bunch of shit and then tag me in it.
Yeah, I've been reposting the stuff of us.
so you're letting me do all the work here.
Yeah.
So all right, well, yeah. As we just end the video, just ripping on each other here.
Right.
All right, well, yeah,
we're helping each other.
Exactly. All right, well, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one, everybody.
Good night, everybody.